By 2021, he was already married. Later, I returned to China. At his child's full-month celebration, the Su family held a banquet. Su Feng'ai stood in the front hall holding the baby, polite yet distant. The Su and Jin families remained on excellent terms, as if Su Feng'ai and I had never been together. I stood at the entrance, watching him laugh and chat with his wife and child. My scattered, lingering thoughts felt all the more sordid in that moment. Thinking about it now, there really were quite a few women before him. I turned away gracefully. Indeed, men are all the same. In the winter of 2020, I followed my parents' arrangements to go abroad for work and further training. After the new year, Su Feng'ai broke up with me. He said he was lonely, that he'd made a mistake. By the time I rushed back, I found out he was already married, a shotgun wedding. My father said the Su family had compensated ours with several major projects. I skimmed the report. It was a maternal and child welfare donation. Doing the math, I realized Su Feng'ai was doing it to accumulate good karma for his wife. I set the documents aside, feeling a bit agitated. But given my personality, making a scene like a fishwife simply wasn't in me. The more I thought about it, the more stifled I felt. Finally, I took a deep breath, left the company, and headed to the mall. Halfway through shopping, my father called. We discussed a new project, and as we wrapped up, he asked, "Do you resent him?" I thought for a long moment, picked out a pair of high heels, and replied while trying them on, "Not really. I just feel like I was a bit of a pushover." My father chuckled and comforted me. "A fortunate daughter avoids an unfortunate family, Alan. Make the most of what you have. The same goes for people. Money will never betray you. I'm a man too, and to be blunt, I wasn't much better in my younger days. My footing faltered, and I nearly twisted my ankle. After a long silence, I replied softly, "You're really not giving me any hope for love, are you?" Old Mr. Jin clicked his tongue. "I'm not rushing you to marry. I'm rushing you to make money." I pressed my temple, a little exasperated. "Dad, isn't one Jin family member obsessed with money enough?" Just as I finished speaking, a dark shadow darted past me, kicking my shoe away. I froze, watching the flying shoe and the fleeing figure, barely managing to say, "I'll call you back." The shadow slowed to a stop, revealing a handsome little boy. He looked at me with a slight smile. "Sorry, pretty lady." Caught off guard, I could only say, "It's fine." No sooner had I spoken than a sinister voice came from behind me. "Sun Duo." Goosebumps rose on my skin. I turned to see a man with damp hair. His eyes were clear and he whispered weakly, "Sister, I should hang up too." I was speechless. What kind of dramatic scene was this? I rarely socialize, and when I do go out, it's usually with my parents or Su Feng'ai. But I'd seen plenty of rich heirs with looks like Mr. Damp Hairs, so I felt no particular reaction. On instinct, I decided to smooth things over. "Mr. Sun, please don't be upset. Children are playful. It's a small matter." "Not father and son?" He anticipated my thought. "I'm not his father. The other reason I'm scolding him." The man stood, pointing at his hair. "See this? His doing." I swallowed nervously, glancing around the bustling mall, a bit perplexed by his familiarity. When the sales associate came to ring up my purchase, Mr. Su started chattering non-stop. "I swear, don't you think he deserved it?" In front of everyone. A whole bottle of water, poured right over my head. The little boy stuck out his neck defiantly. It was a slip. How can an adult hold a grudge against a kid? Before Mr. Su could continue, the associate asked me to pay. I hesitated, about to excuse myself. Then I heard, "A family of 3? So lovely." I frowned, about to correct her, when Mr. Su burst out irritably. "If this little brat were my son, I'd off myself on the spot. Also, I'm single and unmarried. This beautiful lady is not my wife." I raised an eyebrow. Mr. Su took a deep breath and pulled out his phone to pay. It took me a moment to realize his mistake. "The shoes are what I'm buying," I reminded him. Mr. Su blinked. "Weren't those the ones Sun Duo grabbed?" I calmly opened the shoebox, revealing a beautiful pair of high heels. "Sir, does your child wear women's size 7? The man frowned, a bit helpless. "Consider this an apology we disturbed you." I shook my head and opened my phone. No problem. Let me transfer the money. Sun Duo peeked out from behind Mr. Su, whispering to me, "My mom never wears heels. No one's used a pickup line this lame since the last century." My hand, about to add the contact, paused. I looked up at him, expressionless. A bit flustered, Mr. Su asked, "Is there something on my face?" I shook my head, took the shoes, and said coolly, "I never mentioned my surname was Jin." The man stood there dumbfounded, face pale. I've seen plenty of pickup attempts, even more abroad. My usual response would be a firm refusal, but this time, there was a pair of 6,000 yuan shoes between us. I had to admit, the most cliched approach had the highest success rate. I pressed my forehead, transferred the money, and ignored the rest. When I got home and opened my phone, it was flooded with messages from this Mr. Su. "Su Yang. My name is Su Yang. Like yang in yang dance. Miss Jin, I know your parents, so I know who you are. Honestly, no ill intent. I'm only 22. He's 6 or 7. Having him would be illegal. Miss Jin, I just got home." I glanced at the messages and decisively deleted the chat. Su Yang. So noisy. His mouth was even chattier than an old lady doing the yang dance. After I unpacked and showered, my phone was buzzing again. Bored, I opened it to see Su Yang asking me, "Sister Lan, what do you think of me?" Sister Lan? Just a moment ago it was Miss Jin. Already calling me Sister Lan? I frowned. I accidentally opened the chat, and immediately saw, typing ... double quotes on his end. "Sister Lan." I saw that. You can't read and ignore. My temple throbbed. Finally, I replied perfunctorily, "What do you mean? What do I think? Of me? Give me your assessment." I thought for a moment and quickly replied, "Loud." He kept showing typing ... for a long while but didn't send a specific message. Finally, I turned off my phone and went to bed. The next morning, Su Yang had sent only 2 messages. One was, "Sister Lan, welcome back to China." The other was, "I hope you don't mind the noise." I squinted, intrigued. I called my secretary. "Please look up Su Yang for me." The secretary's information was sparse, just 1 page. Su Yang was the sole heir of the Su family, described as unmotivated and coasting through life. The Zazav were apparently keen on finding a capable woman to revitalize their fortunes. I almost smiled. By 3 in the afternoon, Su Yang still hadn't accepted my money transfer. Using that as an excuse, I invited him to dinner. Despite his abrasive manner, Mr. Su was surprisingly forgiving. He arrived at the private room I'd reserved with great fanfare. That was at 4 in the afternoon, Beijing time. I get off work at 6. He was too noisy. At 4:30, I arrived to find him slouched in his chair, looking every bit the idling rich kid. But strangely, today's Su Yang was quiet. He hadn't touched the cold dishes laid out on the table. "Sorry to keep you waiting." Su Yang sat up a bit straighter, gave a slight smile, and reverted to his usual mischievous demeanor. "Sister Lan really keeps people waiting. After calling me loud, now you're making me suffer through a late dinner." So he was annoyed. I frowned. "I wasn't insulting you." Su Yang gave an "oh." "Loud isn't an insult? It's a compliment. I meant you're lively." I lied smoothly. "An insult would be noisy or obnoxious." Su Yang raised an eyebrow. All right. I opened the menu, pretending not to hear. "Order." He randomly picked 2 cheap items and stopped. "You don't have to save my money," I said. Another "oh." And Su Yang unashamedly added the 2 most expensive bottles of red wine. Interesting. I relaxed and let my guard down. Su Yang ate very neatly, a stark contrast to his chattiness. I almost wondered if this quiet, polite man was the real Su Yang. He was good-looking, came from a good family, and at 22 was at the prime age for rich playboys. I couldn't help asking, "What are your aspirations?" "Marriage," Su Yang answered quickly, as if fearing I hadn't heard. He repeated, "My aspiration is to start a family and build a career." I was a bit confused, a sour, inexplicable feeling rising within me. Is marriage really such a good thing? "You don't believe me?" I shook my head, deflecting lightly. "To each their own." Su Yang hummed softly, retorting, "I graduated college at 20. I've been an unemployed bum for 2 whole years. 20? I calculated the age. Graduated or dropped out. Su Young's face reddened with indignation. I skipped grades in middle school. I legitimately graduated. What are you implying, Sister Lan? Don't you prefer men who are easy to fool and a bit dumb? Good question. I stopped laughing, picked up a piece of vegetable with my chopsticks and said coolly, "What's all this talk about prefer?" Su Yang gave an "oh," and wisely returned to his meal. I breathed a sigh of relief, but thinking about my own motives made me feel guilty. After the meal, Su Yang was flushed from the wine, looking even more boyish. I resigned myself to driving him home. Reeking of alcohol, we reached the entrance and ran into Su Feng'ai. Being a new father had softened his aloof demeanor. His features held a gentle warmth. A pang of hurt shot through me. I instinctively quickened my pace. Before I could speak, the man beside me pounded his chest and roared, "Your grandfather's name is Su. Su Yang. Su Yang." I covered my face, embarrassed. I swatted his hand away. Despite my exasperation, I defended him. Isn't this none of Mr. Su's business? What I find curious is how someone's taste has apparently worsened after going abroad. I deliberately took Su Yang's hand, gave a demonstrative gentle smile and kept my tone even. The soil here is nourishing. It nurtures lovers and mistresses too. Even bastards can be passed off as legitimate heirs. If I feel like nurturing a Su Yang today, isn't that well within reason? More than enough, in fact. Su Feng'ai's expression remained detached. Only his brow furrowed tightly. He retorted dryly, "Jinlan, I've been compensating you." I shot him a cold glance, maintaining my composure, my voice calm. "Does Mr. Su think I, Jinlan, am in need of your paltry offerings?" Taking advantage of his guilty conscience, I stated my position. "That charity project you graciously gave me was rather lacking in substance, don't you think?" Su Feng'ai stared at our intertwined hands, frowning. "That's trivial. Let go of him first." Su Yang craned his neck, yelling insults. "Let go because you say so? The Su family can go screw themselves." I was mortified. That name is so embarrassing. Su Feng'ai took a deep breath and challenged me. "Jin Lan, you're an upright businesswoman. A gentleman doesn't." "I'm a woman, not a gentleman," I replied calmly, smiling. "Mr. Su, doesn't using the word upright make you blush?" Su Yang cursed and repeated, "Yeah, exactly. I'm not a gentleman either, I'm handsome." "You're disgusting. Talking out of both sides of your mouth. Get lost. Now." Su Feng'ai's face turned green with anger, but he couldn't formulate a rebuttal. I stood there quietly, composed, matching him blow for blow. I knew Su Feng'ai too well. He cared most about appearances. The head of the Su family would never stoop to arguing with a reckless youth. But Su Yang was different. He was famous for being a shameless, entitled heir. He'd argue with a 3-year-old, let alone someone his age. Su Feng'ai stared at Su Yang, his tone turning cold towards me. "He's just playing with you. Don't come crying later." Su Yang kicked Su Feng'ai and snapped back. "Playing with your mother? Who's as despicable as you? Your grandfather is sending you a wedding invitation tomorrow." Damn. I rarely show my emotions, and this was expected, so I remained unmoved. "No manners," Su Feng'ai snapped, his brow deeply furrowed. I spoke slowly and deliberately. "Even if he has no manners, it's because I indulged him." Su Feng'ai took a deep breath, gave up arguing, and turned away. Su Yang shook his fist at his retreating back, then suddenly leaned close to my cheek, his lips near my ear. His breath smelled of alcohol, his tone fervent and low. He said, "Jin Lan, us teaming up to argue? We're perfect together." The words lightly soothed my frayed, anxious defenses, whisking away all my lingering emotions. Su Yang, forceful yet childish, had stepped between me and the man who hurt me, weaving another ambiguous trap. Interesting. I curved my lips slightly and replied, "Looks like you're not drunk, Mr. Su, so I won't bother seeing you home." Su Yang's eyes widened in shock. He gripped my hand tightly. "You can't abandon me after seducing me." I stared at our interlaced fingers. My temples started throbbing again. Ignoring the fact that I'd forgotten to let go. What was this about abandoning after seducing? I was the one abandoned by Su Feng'ai. When I took Su Yang back, Sun Duo was the one who opened the door. I was a bit stunned. I helped Su Yang inside and unceremoniously dumped him on the sofa. He lay there with his eyes closed, not moving, even smacking his lips once. But his eyelashes were fluttering, clearly faking it. Sun Duo trotted over, looking like a little kitten. "Sister Jin, is Uncle Su dead?" I explained calmly. "Little guy, do you know what playing drunk means?" Sun Duo nodded thoughtfully, took my hand, and picked up a bottle of water from the table, handing it to me with unusually clear eyes. I paused. Sun Duo explained. "Unscrew it, pour it on his head. It'll help Uncle Su sober up." Su Yang shot up from the sofa, like a corpse rising from the dead, and started cursing. "You ungrateful little wretch. I take good care of you, and this is how you repay me." Sun Duo, seemingly used to this, reddened his eyes and retorted, "I don't want you to take care of me. I want my mom." I crossed my arms, watching the drama unfold with amusement. "Exactly. Why are you keeping the Sun family's child here anyway?" Seeing the child was genuinely upset, Su Yang felt a bit guilty. He tried to pull Sun Duo over to comfort him, but the boy shied away. I felt sorry for the kid, but I still didn't move. After what happened with Su Feng'e, the cheating, the baby, my fondness for children had plummeted from minimal to non-existent. Sun Duo was crying in grievance, but I just stepped back. It was my aversion to marriage and children acting up. Su Yang noticed my reaction. He dropped the pretense of being drunk, sat down near the child, gently pulled him into his arms, and spoke softly. "Sun Duo, here's the thing. So once she's sorted things out, Uncle Su will take you back. For now, just bear with it and stay with me for a few days. Okay?" Sun Duo, though young, wasn't stupid. His eyes filled with tears, and he nestled in Su Yang's arms without speaking. I roughly understood. Mr. Sun had a mistress and had brought the illegitimate child home. Mrs. Sun wanted to resolve the situation without a confrontation in front of her son, so she'd entrusted Sun Duo to Su Yang. Hearing this story stirred my emotions. Mrs. Sun was in an even worse situation than I was. At least I cut my losses in time. But Mrs. Sun, with a child, would find it much harder to extricate herself. Empathizing with her, I sighed, walked over and patted the child's head. "Don't be scared. Mrs. Sun is on her own right now. Call me godmother, and I'll look out for you. After all, you're the legitimate young master of the Sun family." Su Yang's gentle expression instantly cracked. He pulled the child closer and said very seriously, "Then don't call me Uncle Su anymore. Call me godfather. That way, both the Su and Jin families are protecting you. We'll win the inheritance fight for sure." I rubbed my forehead, deeply exasperated by Su Yang's childish attempt to take advantage. Sun Duo looked at me, then at Su Gong. 2 little tears fell as he gave a soft in agreement. After calming Sun Duo down, Su Yang stopped pretending to be clueless, and I took my leave. I didn't know what to say, but my inclination towards not marrying or having children was becoming more pronounced. I wasn't sure if I should continue this ambiguous thing with Su Yang, or even what my own mindset was anymore. Su Yang and I eventually fizzled out. I grew cold, and after repeatedly hitting a wall, he backed off. About 3 to 5 months later, my father called me to his office. The Su family suddenly threw us an olive branch. "Do you know anything about it?" I nodded, took the document, flipped through a few pages, and said calmly, "No." "Then you're in charge of it." Old Mr. Jin scrolled through his phone and added, "I'm planning to retire and delegate authority." I took the project materials. Opening them, I saw that a contact person on the Su family's side was Su Yang. Suspicious, to say the least. Wasn't Su Yang supposed to be idle? How was he the contact person? Was he trying to play the fool? I set the materials down, narrowing my eyes. That wouldn't do. I handed the project proposal and materials back to my father, my tone blunt. I don't want to be in charge. Wearing his glasses, probably reading financial news, old Mr. Jin looked at me through the lenses, his tone meaningful. "Don't want to be responsible for whom?" Frowning, sensing something off, I clarified. "I don't want to be responsible for this project." Old Mr. Jin put his phone down and cleared his throat. Just as he was about to speak, I leaned over and picked up his phone. The screen was bright. On it was a photo of Su Yang, grinning like a happy fool. I looked at old Mr. Jin and smiled slightly. Oh. Are you trying to sell me off? My father closed his eyes, playing dumb. Nonsense. I was just looking at the promising young talents in our area. I locked the screen, my tone sharp. Looking is useless unless he's willing to marry into the family with the Su fortune. My father opened one eye to stop me. Alam, mind your attitude. I didn't respond. My thoughts were in turmoil. After Su Feng'ai, I felt like I couldn't grasp emotions anymore. Some people like me might just not be cut out for love. I took a deep breath and fled. Jinlan was 27 now. What did she have left to gamble with? In the elevator, my eyes stung a bit, but my mind was clear. Crying was for the weak and solved nothing. Love was the most cumbersome thing in the world. As I was psyching myself up, the elevator doors opened and my phone suddenly lit up. A new message. From Su Yang. Su Yang asked, Sister Lan, do you think I have the potential to be a kept man? I frowned, opened the reply box, but not knowing what to say, stayed silent. Su Yang sent a crying emoji and complained. My dad just messaged me. He wants me to start learning to run the family business. Or else he'll sell me off to some rich woman. What is the world coming to? I chuckled, realizing it was a coincidence. What qualifies as a rich woman? Su Yang didn't reply for a while. I had nothing else to do, so I waited for his response. 5 minutes later, Su Yang said, If it weren't you, a rich woman wouldn't matter. I'd rather stay single. That sounded familiar. Su Feng'ai had said something similar back then. He said if he couldn't marry the woman before him, he'd rather not marry at all. Men. Same smooth talk. Same empty promises. I replied slowly, I like someone mature and steady. Old men are more likely to cheat. Su Yang countered smoothly. What a snide remark. It was stifling. My hand trembled slightly. My earlier bad mood vanished, replaced by amusement. After a long pause, Su Yang said, I know your ex-boyfriend is Su Feng'ai. Su Feng'ai, again. I suppressed my irritation and didn't reply. Su Yang continued. He got together with his wife during the Spring Festival after you went abroad. I clicked my tongue. What's that got to do with me? Su Yan sent a voice message in a casual, laid-back tone. Sister Lan, what I mean is, I'm in your social circle too. But you had no idea I even existed. That's kind of rude. I frowned and retorted without hesitation. Rude? What are you talking about? What circle are we in? When I was in school, you were still an egg. What circle? The idiot circle? Su Yang. Su Yang was rendered speechless by my pun and aggressive tone. He didn't send another word, leaving me in peace once more. At work the next day, I heard a strange piece of gossip. The Su and Su families had supposedly been working on a collaboration, but suddenly they'd fallen out and terminated the contract. I thought, that's intense. Keep me out of it. At noon, Su Feng'ai texted me. The Su family is coming to you with their prize. Consider us even. So that was it. That project was originally meant for the Su family. How annoying. I didn't reply. Su Feng'ai sounded impatient. Jinlan, I was 3 months into negotiations, almost at the finish line. Snatching it away like that, you've got some nerve. Frowning in confusion, I wondered what I'd done. I hadn't contacted Su Yang in ages. What scheme was he talking about? Don't think provoking me like this will get a reaction. We're done, Su Feng'ai wrote. I scoffed and couldn't help retorting. Mr. Su, do you know what kind of person has the most confidence? Su Feng'ai replied with 4 words. Someone with ability. I raised an eyebrow. No, average men are the most confident. You're the perfect example, Mr. Su. Su Feng'ai didn't seem to understand and just warned me. No need for flattery. We're nothing to each other now. I laughed and asked, You're quite something, Mr. Su. Do you know what likes to constantly redraw boundaries? Su Feng'ai sent a question mark. I found it amusing as I typed. Animals. They like to mark their territory with urine. Over and over. Su Feng'ai replied, Jin Lan, don't be so aggressive. I may have wronged you, but we had a history. City folk call this history? I was disgusted but kept my composure. Mr. Su, you're a family man. Spare me the nauseating talk. Su Feng'ai grew even more impatient. Jinlan, what exactly do you want? I smiled. When it's time to make money, don't bring up personal ties. If you want to talk personal ties, then kneel. Su Feng'ai finally lost his cool, shedding his gentlemanly facade. His words dripped with sarcasm. Going abroad sure polished you up, didn't it? But Jinlan, you're 28 now. Who would want an old has-been like you? His hurtful words pierced my heart. This was probably the first time Su Feng'ai had called me old. I held my phone, overwhelmed by a sudden bitterness. Memories of our past, already fragmented, now seemed even more pathetic. I finally saw clearly. My voice lost its sharp edge as I stated a fact. Do you want to know why the Su family is coming to an old has-been with their prize? Su Feng'ai frowned, reiterating. Obviously you schemed something. I reminded him. Mr. Su, do you remember Su Yang? The one you met last time? Su Feng'ai fell silent, perhaps realizing something. He didn't reply for a long time. I sent one last message and turned off my phone. I'm busy. Don't contact me unless it's important. You bring bad luck. When Su Yang came to our company to discuss the collaboration, he was like a happy puppy, calling my father uncle non-stop. He agreed with everything my father said. He was polite, exceptionally respectful, nothing like the demanding client one might expect. I sat beside him, feeling his intense gaze. If Su Yang had a tail, it would probably be wagging like a helicopter rotor. During a break, my father looked at the client records, specifically the record of Su Yang's previous negotiations with the Su family, where he'd been a nightmare to deal with. He muttered to me, "This kid's not hard to handle." I paused, glanced at Su Yang seriously reviewing the proposal and sighed, then back at the record of how Su Yang had tormented Su Feng'ai. I felt a headache coming on. Dad, is it possible that the reason he's easy to deal with on this project is that this fool wants to deal with your daughter? So he used the Su family as a punching bag for 3 months, then kicked them aside to come curry favor with the Jin family. When my father went to organize the follow-up documents, I bought 2 bottles of water. As I handed one to Su Yang, I casually remarked, "There haven't been any rumors about the Sun family lately." Su Yang smiled in that infuriating way of his. "Are you more concerned about that little chubby kid, or about me?" I frowned and ignored him. Su Yang unscrewed the water, took a sip, and said in a tired voice, "It's the Sun family's business. We can watch, but no need to get too involved. Yet you took their son home to protect him. Who's more involved, need I say?" I gently taunted, thinking about the relationship between Mrs. Sun and Su Yang. I felt an instinctive resistance. Su Yang smiled slightly. "Jie, if you're ever wronged, you can come to my place too. As long as I'm alive, I'll protect you." I took the water and snorted. "No need. I won't be wronged." Su Yang gave an "oh," propped his chin on his hand, and confessed. "Jin Lan, I'm a businessman too, not an idiot. I don't make losing deals." Mrs. Sun offered me something in return. Protecting the future head of the Sun family is a fair trade. An exchange of interests, not personal. I paused, looked up at Su Yang. He seemed far from the naive young man I'd initially thought. But then again, a tiger doesn't breed a dog. The Su family wouldn't raise a lamb. Su Yang, seeing my silence, seemed to guess my thoughts. "Sister Lan, do you think I'm scheming?" I smiled smoothly. "That's not scheming. It's clever." Su Yang pouted. "Who knows if you're secretly labeling me, thinking I'm like your ex, not to be trusted. You're probably cursing me for being cunning, maybe even accusing me of having something going on with Mrs. Sun." I thought. Exactly. Su Yang looked into my eyes, unusually serious. "I don't mess around with relationships. Don't lump me with Su Feng'ai. I'm completely different." I crossed my arms, unwilling to engage. "None of my business." Su Yang glared at me resentfully, muttering, "You're always so hot and cold. You obviously like me a bit. Yet you keep me hanging, alternating between a slap and a sweet. Caring about me, then scolding me." I rubbed my temple. "First, I'm not sure where you got the idea I like you. Second, I didn't scold you. You said none of my business." Su Yang rapped the table, his retort crisp and emphatic. I offered a weak explanation. "The Sun family isn't connected to the Jin family. No collaborations, no personal ties. Su Yang stood up, agitated. How are they not connected? You're the mother of our child. Just then, I heard a sharp crash behind me. My father's teacup had shattered on the floor. Jin Lan, explain yourself. When did you and Su Yang have a child? Heaven knows how many times. I had to explain the whole mess with the Sun family, and my aversion to marriage and children, before my father finally believed I wasn't involved with Su Yang in that way. Throughout it all, Su Yang sat there meekly, posture straight, behaving like a model elementary school student. My fists clenched involuntarily. So anyway, I acknowledged a Godson, Sun duo. This whole Sun family mess is similar to what I went through. A man who can't control himself. I can't stand by and watch. That child is the legitimate young master of the Sun family. Regardless of his mother's backing, why should the inheritance he's entitled to be given away? My tone was cold and stubborn. As for me, I don't like kids and don't want any. I don't believe in love anymore either. At my last sentence, Su Yang finally looked up. He asked bluntly, Jin Lan, this is why you're hot and cold, isn't it? You finally voiced your real concern. I was stunned, caught off guard by the clarity in Su Yang's eyes. He stood up. He wasn't short at all. Even in my heels, I could feel the pressure of his presence. Old Mr. Jin smiled slightly and rose to leave. You two talk. No rush on the project. My eyes followed my father out of the corner of my vision. Su Yang had his hands in his pockets, still looking like a carefree playboy. After a moment of silence, I nodded slightly, my voice hoarse. Yes. I closed my eyes, mentally preparing myself for Su Yang's anger and reproach. Instead, he just smiled brightly. So what? I've been waiting for you to tell the truth. I opened my eyes, confused. Su Yang's gaze was gentle. It's okay. I don't like kids either. I'm a bit afraid of marriage too. But I think dating is fine. It satisfies emotional needs, doesn't it? I thought for a moment and nodded. Logically, yes. So Sister Lan, do me the honor. Go out with me. Su Yang bent slightly, lowering himself to ask. Though surprised, I couldn't bring myself to refuse, nor could I agree. After a long while, Su Yang excused me. It's okay. There's plenty of time. I clenched my fist tighter and finally spoke honestly. I'd rather focus on my career. It's not mutually exclusive. I want to build a career with you too. Su Yang grinned, just like the simple, slightly foolish boy I'd first met. I was almost fooled by his apparent sincerity. I pursed my lips and didn't argue. Let's meet at the top. Su Yang made a fist and tapped it lightly against my clenched one. It was a childish gesture. Su Yang's eyes were full of tolerant amusement. He didn't push further. Let's leave it here for today. I'll follow up on the collaboration details. Sister Lan, happy working together. He extended his hand towards me. I hesitated, then shook it. Happy ... Working together. Su Yang held my hand firmly, just like the first time we'd held hands months ago when he was drunk. This time, the physical contact felt less rash, more solemn. I always knew I was a bit of a coward when it came to feelings. I was afraid Su Yang would let me down, and afraid I wouldn't be able to accept his enthusiasm with an open heart. This collaboration felt like both a reunion after separation and a continuation of something unfinished. I drifted through a few days and a daze. Then my father handed me an invitation. Your godson's family is throwing a birthday party. Want to go? The implications of godfather and godmother were clear enough. Old Mr. Jin looked like he was watching a good show. I'm too old for the noise. The gift is ready. Go in my place. I took the invitation and said helplessly, Dad, you're just hoping for a good laugh at my expense, aren't you? Old Mr. Jin started counting on his fingers. You're almost 30. Young Su is only 20. You're getting a bargain. I was almost laughing despite my exasperation. Dad, I'm 27. Su Yang is 22. Can you not round up? My father waved his hand. Close enough. I only have one wish, that you're happy. Jin Lan, be bold. The Jin family is behind you. My daughter is good enough for anyone. So don't feel insecure. Don't be scared. He paused, a hint of worry in his voice. But I don't want you to be played with again. Keep your eyes open. Don't bite every hook. My eyes stung. I nodded. Don't worry, Dad. I won't be foolish again. My father patted my shoulder. Good. It's all growth, Lam. All growth. The Sun family's birthday party felt strange the moment I walked in. The setup didn't match the Sun's usual extravagant style. I grabbed a drink, planning to observe. But my gaze swept across the room and landed on Su Yang in a suit. Dressed up. He had an intense, somewhat aloof aura. Yet, his actions were like a mother hen's, surrounded by a group of little kids, patiently playing rock, paper, scissors with them. He'd said he didn't like kids. Was that a lie? I swirled my glass thoughtfully. Su Yang seemed to spot me. He navigated through the children and walked straight towards me, eyes smiling. Sister Len, you came? I went to meet him, noticing his formal attire. Why are you dressed even more formally than for contract negotiations? Su Yang lowered his head, smiling with a hint of intensity. A man over 20 can't dress like a kid anymore. I was speechless. I just nodded. Seeing I wasn't talking, Su Yang tried to get closer. What are you drinking? Let me have some. I turned to get him a glass, but Su Yang just took hold of my hand and drank from my cup. When I turned back, the crown of his head was right in front of my eyes. Su Yang, are you looking for trouble? I threatened, my voice low. Su Yang looked up, savored the taste for a moment, then pretended to be smug. Testing for poison, Sister Lan. I rolled my eyes. Sun Duo, surrounded by other kids, came over and looked at me a bit sheepishly. Out of politeness, I bent down slightly and smiled. Happy birthday, Sun Duo. Sun Duo looked at Su Yang, then at me, a bit upset. Why is Godmother doing this too? I froze, confused. Su Yang clicked his tongue and patted Sun Duo's head. Be a gentleman. Your godmother doesn't know about your family's situation. If she did, she wouldn't have come. Just as I was getting more perplexed, a little girl beside me spoke up. Auntie, Sun Duo said today isn't his birthday. It's his dad's other son's birthday. My eyes narrowed. I felt anger rising. That Mr. Sun was quite the schemer, using his son's birthday as a pretext to gather everyone from the circle, making them think it was for Sun Duo, when in reality he was propping up his illegitimate child. Does Mrs. Sun have no say? I couldn't help asking. Su Yang smirked. Seeing me here today, don't you get it? What? I took a sip of my drink, feeling a bit sour. Did Mrs. Sun hire you to be the scapegoat? Su Yang shooed the kids away, grabbed a drink and clinked glasses with me. I don't do losing deals. What do you mean? I set my drink down, prying further. Su Yang leaned down, his breath near my ear, curious. I only tell the truth to my girlfriend. Unfazed, I pushed his face away and started to walk off. Fine. Don't tell. Keep it to yourself. Su Yang followed me, step for step, whining. You could ask me, you know. Ask and I'll tell. I stopped and turned, looking at his hopeful expression, and enunciated, childish. Su Yang laughed, standing a short distance away, trying to coax me. Don't be jealous. I'm not that kind of guy. My face flushed slightly. I didn't say anything else, just quickly added. I'll be watching your show. If you like what you see, do I get a reward? Su Yang shamelessly leaned closer. I glanced at him. No, I said coldly. Su Yang clicked his tongue, looking pitiful. Fine, no reward. I'll keep trying. Eventually there will be. The drama unfolded in typical Su Yang fashion. The illegitimate child looked somewhat similar to Sun Duo, being only a few years apart in age. Seeing Su Yang surrounded by young masters and misses around his own age, he felt a bit envious and went over to strike up a conversation. Su Yang, never one to be a polite elder, pretended not to hear when the child called him Uncle Su. The boy, apparently considering himself the true young master of the Sun family, proudly announced that today was his event. It was only then that Su Yang looked up and said loudly, Oh, so it's not young Master Sun's birthday. It's yours. Having called it out, Su Yang embellished further, thoroughly airing the Sun family's dirty laundry. The child was just a little brat facing off against a provocateur like Su Yang. He couldn't even retort, just kept yelling. So what? How stupid. While the guests knew some of the story, realizing that Mr. Sun had played a sneaky trick, and they'd all been used, still made them angry. Those who disliked being used left immediately upon learning the truth, not even waiting for the party to start. Watching the thinning crowd, I sensed the Sun family would suffer significant reputational damage. Timing it, sure enough, Mr. Sun emerged with Mrs. Sun, whose face was icy cold. I took a sip of wine as the children scattered. The illegitimate child was still yelling at Su Yang for meddling, clearly ill-mannered. Sun Duo, apparently unwilling to stay near his nominal half-brother, left Su Yang and ran over to me. I took Sun Duo's hand, quietly reassuring him not to be afraid. My gaze swept past the heartless Mr. Sun and inadvertently landed on Su Feng'ai. What was he doing here? Scattered memories flooded my already confused mind like a tide. I vaguely recalled something. Before I went abroad, Su Feng'ai had proposed, trying to keep me in the country. But for the sake of the Jin family's long-term development, I painfully refused. If I had agreed back then, I'd probably be the next Mrs. Sun. I sighed, feeling even more sympathetic towards the child beside me. No one was superior to anyone else. Mrs. Sun was simply a Jinlan who'd made a different choice, now forced to endure and forced to stay. Sun Duo hid behind me, apparently not wanting to see his father, clutching my clothes nervously. Mr. Sun took the stage, oblivious to what had happened, assuming guests were just late. He announced, "Today is my son Sun Fan's birthday celebration. Everyone, enjoy yourselves." The man couldn't hide his delight, probably thinking this was a decent way to acknowledge his illegitimate son. Unfortunately, Su Yang asked, "Mr. Sun, did you get the name wrong? Is it Sun Duo or Sun Fan?" Mrs. Sun smiled faintly. Though she wore no makeup, she commanded respect without anger. She calmly followed up, "My son's birthday isn't today." Mr. Sun's expression darkened. He tugged his wife's sleeve. "But we agreed. Agreed with whom?" Mrs. Sun stepped onto the stage and said coolly, "Everyone, today is indeed his son's birthday party. It will also be the anniversary of my divorce from Mr. Sun." I stood below, remaining composed. Su Yang walked towards me, pulling the child from behind me. "Sun Duo, they're about to steal your inheritance." The child burst into tears. "Wah, I don't want that, Uncle Su." Su Yang gritted his teeth, his tone icy. "I'm not your uncle." The child's eyes widened. He cried even harder, probably thinking Su Yang was abandoning him. I patted Sun Duo's shoulder, giving him a push. "Wrong name. What did your godmother teach you?" "Forgot already." Sun Duo looked at me, catching on quickly. "Godfather, wah. Yeah, that's better. If you don't call me godfather, it's hard for me to step into your family affairs." Su Yang smiled with satisfaction, his gaze lingering on me almost seductively. I instinctively looked away. Mr. Sun descended from the stage, clearly displeased. "Outsiders don't need to meddle in the Sun family's affairs, do they?" "Mr. Sun, that's not how it's said. Before I could finish, my peripheral vision caught Su Feng'ai standing not far away, seemingly wanting to stop me. I lost control for a moment and vented the anger I felt towards Su Feng'ai. This child calls Su Yang godfather and calls me godmother. How can we not meddle? The moment I finished speaking, I heard the sound of shattering glass. Why did everyone have such poor tolerance, just like my father? I followed the sound and saw Su Feng'ai, having dropped his wine glass, staring at me in disbelief, his face ashen. I looked away. Oh, it was Su Feng'ai. Never mind, none of my concern. If it was him, even if he mistakenly thought Sun Duo was my child, it didn't matter. Mr. Sun asked me, "Miss Jin, I wasn't aware my son had acknowledged you two as godparents." Su Yang seemed quite surprised by my sudden involvement, but didn't try to stop me. Mrs. Sun walked over calmly and said, "I had Sun Duo acknowledge them." "What of it?" "Everyone, let's not argue. This family matter shouldn't be discussed here." Su Feng'ai came over, playing peacemaker, just like Mr. Sun. His magnanimous act was nauseating. I instinctively refused to speak with him. Such bad luck. Though young, Su Jiang stepped between Su Feng'ai and me, blocking their exchange. His attitude was strong, no less imposing than any old fox in business. Every word he spoke struck Su Feng'ai's core. "Mr. Su, what are you saying? You're virtuous, you're noble. Your wife hasn't suffered at the hands of another woman. Naturally, you wouldn't understand a woman's pain after a man cheats. Su Yang, watch your mouth. Su Feng'ai, clearly worried his scandal would be exposed, couldn't stand still. Su Yang specialized in innuendo and relentless pressure. Before I could say a word, he was already cursing like a rogue. Su Feng'ai, I've wanted to say this for a long time. Stop pretending to be a good man here. You're the most despicable. I watched as Su Yang continued, realizing the Su family's shame would soon be fully exposed. Mr. Sun, meanwhile, stayed silent, watching the drama unfold as if hoping to divert trouble, almost gleeful. Su Feng'ai, flustered, hadn't expected to get dragged into this. He demanded of me, Jin Lan, aren't you going to control him? I calmly tucked a strand of hair behind my ear. My posture relaxed. I waited until Su Feng'ai was about to burst before speaking. Control what? Su Yang's mouth isn't attached to me. You. Su Feng'ai's face turned green. He dropped all pretense, completely losing his composure. Mr. Su, you're the one who abandoned propriety first. I don't need to protect your image. Stop pretending here. Do you really think no one in this circle knows how your illegitimate daughter became your legitimate child? You're no better. Su Yang raised his voice, his attitude exceptionally firm, laying Su Feng'ai's dirty laundry bare. What were you thinking? It's easy for you to talk. Since you like participating in discussions like this so much, tomorrow I'll find some entertainment reporters to interview you properly about your glorious history of betraying a good woman and cheating to have a child. Su Yang's words carried weight, and he even omitted my name, saving me considerable embarrassment. My heart warmed. I appreciated it greatly. Who was left at the venue now but savvy gossips who loved a good rumor? Though such scandals were common, they rarely played out so publicly. Su Yang had brought everything into the open. Su Feng'ai had thoroughly lost face. I smiled faintly, pleased with the outcome. Finally, under the whispering and strange looks of the guests, Su Feng'ai made an excuse and hurriedly left. Mr. Sun looked at me, wanting to continue the conversation. Miss Jin, I wasn't aware Mr. Su had such a romantic history. Before I could retort, Su Yang redirected his fire at the other adulterer. Mr. Sun, you're no different. Did you think we were fools, inviting us to this birthday party just to show off your bastard? Mr. Sun's expression turned fierce. Su Yang, I might be unable to match your words today, but in business, what can you use against me? The Sun family business wasn't insignificant. Though not as established as the Su family, they still commanded some respect. Worried Su Yang might go too far and make an unnecessary enemy, I silently tugged his sleeve, signaling him not to push too hard. Su Yang gave me a look, smiling reassuringly. Mr. Sun, look at the stage. Whether you can compete with me is still up for debate. Things began to evolve beyond my expectations. Mrs. Sun spoke from the stage. Everyone, I apologize for the spectacle. But this farce isn't over. I have another announcement. Beyond personal misconduct, Sun Xingwei is also implicated in some unsavory activities. I believe the police will issue an appropriate statement regarding the future prosperity of the Sun family. Mrs. Sun lowered her head briefly, then looked up, her expression stern and forceful. The future prosperity of the Sun family has nothing to do with me, Ki-ru. After the divorce, I will raise Ki-duo properly. Though the Sun family is unreliable, I believe the Kai family will still have opportunities to cooperate with you all in the future. My eyes widened in surprise. So Mrs. Sun's maiden name was Ki. The puzzle piece clicked into place. The Ki family had always kept a low profile. Their children seldom appeared in public. It made sense I didn't recognize Ki-ru. But what was the connection between Su Yang and Ki-ru? The farce ended with Sun Xingwei taken away by the police for investigation. As Su Yang and I left together, I couldn't help asking, "You and Ki-ru?" He smiled and explained, "My grandmother's surname was Ki. Back when the Su family business was struggling and seemed on the verge of collapse, she insisted on marrying down. So the relationship between the Ki and Su families deteriorated. After my grandmother passed, the Ki family cut off all contact with us. It's no surprise you didn't know. It happened generations ago. I only figured it out in the last couple of years myself. I sorted out the logic. Su Yang and Ki-ru were probably distantly related. That explained why Ki-ru would entrust her child to him. A family connection. And someone who got along with kids, he was perfect as free labor. Plus, Su Yang could use this to solidify his future career. So it wasn't a losing deal at all. Understanding this, I realized what he meant by deal. Re-establishing the connection between the Qi and Su families was indeed a good thing. I nodded and continued. Technically, Qiru married down too, didn't she? The Sun family isn't exactly prestigious. Su Yang nodded. That's true. But Sun Xingwei was a good actor, sweet-talking and attentive. The Qi family put him through tests at the time and he passed. So the Qi patriarch actually liked him. I took a deep breath, reflecting. When in love, it's always like that. The person before you is the one in your heart. They won't marry anyone else. For the first time, Su Yang challenged my view. His attitude stubborn. No. Some people are faithful. They love only one. Others are promiscuous. They love whoever's in front of them. I didn't respond. I didn't know what to say. The night wind was chilly. I wrapped my coat tighter and gently changed the subject. You've had a long day too. We should all get some rest. Su Yang, getting no reaction from me, hung his head dejectedly. He seemed upset. I didn't know how to comfort him. An inexplicable awkwardness crept in with the cold wind. I couldn't help hopping a little, my heels making 2 crisp clicks on the ground. In the silence, it sounded a bit abrupt. Su Yang quickly took off his suit jacket and draped it over me. Then he fell silent again. I blinked, feeling the warmth and scent of the jacket. Realizing he might be upset, I cleared my throat and asked softly, "Aren't you cold?" Su Yang frowned, speaking irritably. "I'm cold, but my heart is colder. You definitely think I'm like those men. And I didn't handle today's situation particularly well either." "You're not them," I said, stopping and shivering as I looked at him in the cold wind. "If you were, you wouldn't have said what you did today, wouldn't have stood up to Su Feng'ai, and wouldn't have handled the Sun family affair in such a blunt, embarrassing way. I know you're smart. There are probably many better ways to handle this, but you chose the most shameless, lowest approach. I know you must have done it partly to stand up for me. It was rare for me to speak so much. I enunciated carefully, afraid of saying the wrong thing." Su Yang stood opposite me, eyes slightly reddening, reverting to his usual silly demeanor. "Jinlan, why are you suddenly being so sentimental? I wasn't standing up for you. I just can't stand Su Feng'ai. He was with you for so long, such scum. How did he get to be with you for so long?" His words caught me off guard. I didn't know how to respond. "You don't believe in love now, you don't believe in men. I really don't know how to pursue you." Su Yang sniffled, turning his head to look at the road, his eyes full of stubbornness and restraint. My heart softened. I asked, "What do you mean?" "Giving up because it's hard." Su Yang's eyes snapped back to me. He quickly retorted, "When did I say I was giving up? I didn't know what came over me. Maybe it was the alcohol. But I suddenly found myself bickering with him like a child. You said you didn't know how to pursue me. You said you weren't standing up for me. Then you ... Su Yang, frustrated, leaned down and kissed the corner of my lips. Yes, just the corner. He touched me so gently, devout and warm, restrained yet powerful. I don't know if it was the cold, but I stood frozen, not daring to move. "Jinlam, I really like you. I liked you from the first moment I saw you. And I like you more every day." When he said those words, brilliant fireworks exploded in my dazed mind. "Oh no," I said to myself softly. "Jinlan, it seems you're about to fall for this 22-year-old. After I got home, I was still a bit dazed. The moment I walked in, I saw my father sitting on the sofa waiting for me. I heard that Sun family member was taken away. Caused quite a stir. You got dragged into it too?" Old Mr. Jin frowned. His information network was excellent. I thought for a moment, then nodded. The Sun family didn't host that party for Sun Duo. It was for Sun Xingwei's illegitimate son. Mrs. Sun used the opportunity to announce the divorce publicly and got him taken away. Su Yang and I were just there for the spectacle, doing them a favor. Old Mr. Jin looked up, a smile playing on his lips. "You know, that's not what I want to hear." I cleared my throat evasively. Well, Su Yang also stood up for me. He tore Su Feng'ai apart, killing 2 birds with 1 stone. Nothing much to say. Old Mr. Jin gave an "oh" still not getting to the point. I took a deep breath, steadied myself, and blurted out before running off. Su Yang and I kissed, all right? My father's laughter echoed behind me for a long time. The tips of my ears burned. I couldn't tell if it was from embarrassment or panic. After my shower, I saw a new message on my phone. Su Yang. Sorry. Did you get home okay? A mischievous urge came over me. Yes. Sorry for what? Su Yang's reply was classic straight man style. Sorry for kissing you. I frowned and went along with it. Oh. Then don't do it again next time. Su Yang seemed surprised. Next time? There can be a next time. I found it amusing and asked, Su Yang, do I sound angry to you? Su Yang was honest. I can't tell if you're angry, but I'm a bit scared you might be. So you shouldn't be angry. It's bad for your health, and bad for me too. I pressed my forehead, lay down on the bed and said slowly, I'm not angry. Su Yang continued, That's good. Can I come to your company tomorrow? I replied helplessly. The deal isn't finalized yet. What do you think? Can we not talk about work after hours? Su Yang's reply was full of grievance. Don't you have any personal feelings? Don't you want to talk to me about anything else? I found it amusing. Aren't we supposed to meet at the top? Su Yang replied instantly. Kissing you is already my peak. Smooth talker. Your peak is pretty pathetic. The next day, when I arrived at the company, Su Yang was already waiting at the entrance, waving at me like a fool. I hurried over. Why are you here so early? Su Yang followed me inside, looking a bit embarrassed. I wanted to see you earlier. I'd apparently developed immunity to Su Yang's constant stream of flirty comments. I could now counter without changing my expression. Why didn't you come wait at dawn? Su Yang chuckled. I didn't sleep all night. I led him into the elevator and pressed the floor button. What kept you up all night? Su Yang hesitated. The scene of kissing you. I frowned, amused. Su Yang, are you doing this on purpose? You're 22. Why are you pretending to be innocent? Su Yang looked up, surprised. Huh? Innocent me? I waved my hand, not wanting to dwell on it, and walked straight to the meeting room. Let's continue reviewing the collaboration details. Let's finalize it quickly to avoid any complications. The Su family is still eyeing it. Su Yang nodded seriously. I understand your concern. After the Sun family incident, Su Feng'ai definitely won't let it go. If we don't solidify our partnership soon, it could cause problems. Satisfied with his attitude, I rewarded him. Good. A wise man adapts to circumstances. I'll treat you to lunch at noon. Su Yang didn't accept. Someone else is treating us today. We don't need to spend money. My hands paused as I organized the documents. I guessed a name. Kiru? Su Yang moved closer and signed his name boldly on the contract. Yes. President Su is introducing his girlfriend to the relatives today. I looked at his flamboyant signature, unsure where to even start. How can you sign without reading it? And when did I agree to be your girlfriend? Su Yang pretended to look at me in horror. Oh my. President Jin. So this is who you are. You kiss someone and won't take responsibility. I opened my mouth, momentarily speechless, and then accepted it. Fine. You got me. Su Yang smirked, tidied the documents, and argued with me. I'm not afraid of you scheming against me, yet you turn it around on me. Sister Lan, that's not fair. Before I could respond, Su Yang's phone rang. He said, Excuse me, and answered. What's up? I left in the meeting room and quietly closed the door. About 15 minutes later, Su Yang knocked on my office door. Sister Lan? Can I come in? I answered, looked up, and saw my boy enter, holding a bouquet of white roses. Su Yang was grinning brilliantly. He said, Jin Lan, I know you're worried I'm young and might not be serious. So let's take it slow. First, please accept Mr. Su Yang's confession. The white roses were pure and clean. The young man's eyes were clear. Sitting in my grey office chair, I suddenly felt that perhaps this person had come to save me. In Jin Lan's bleak, unlit 27th year, a warm, passionate soul had finally appeared. I rose slowly, took the bouquet, and curved my lips into a smile. Young President Su really cares about his business partner. Su Yang looked anxious. You're not a business partner. What am I then? I deliberately looked up, my gaze as cool as ever. Su Yang looked into my eyes, but inexplicably lost his voice. I stood on my toes and wrapped my arms around his neck, my voice low. Coward. Trembling, Su Yang hugged me back. He smelled the scent of me like a child, burying his face in the curve of my neck. His warm breath spread across my senses. He laughed and said, Sister Lan, you can be a business partner, but it has to be long-term, stable development. I played dead and ignored him. Su Yang suddenly squeezed my waist. Sister Lan, are you doing this on purpose? I didn't want to talk, so I stayed silent. Su Yang paused, then raised his hands and started tickling me. As I flinched, he scooped me up and laid me down on the sofa. He knelt beside it and kissed me again. Amidst the room's intimate atmosphere, I finally felt the joy of being in love. At noon, Su Jiang introduced me to Qi Ru. At the table, maintaining my composed and cool demeanor, I had a lively discussion with Qi Ru, and then settled on the first collaboration project for her return to the Qi family. Qi Ru raised her glass to me. Thank you for both yesterday's rescue and today's partnership. And thank you to my Qi duo's godparents. Yang looked pleased. He raised his glass and smiled. No problem. Congratulations, President Qi, on escaping a bad situation. Now you can finally spread your wings. I wasn't one for polite speeches, so I simply added, congratulations. Qi Ru nodded. The Su family hasn't had good press lately. Does the Jin family plan to continue the existing cooperation? I took a sip of wine and said lazily, I'm not the one who's embarrassed. Why wouldn't I continue if there's money to be made? Before Qi Ru could respond, Su Yang's face darkened. I'll drive Su Fang'ai bankrupt sooner or later. I heard Qi Ru chuckle softly. Unable to resist, I kicked Mr. Su the tyrant under the table. Su Yang gave me a resentful look and shut up. I continued. If the project corporation shows losses, I'll cancel it. If Su Fang'ai doesn't affect my returns, then business is business. We all follow the contract. Su Yang muttered, bullshit. You and I didn't follow the contract this morning. I frowned, unable to resist arguing. How didn't we? You brought personal feelings into it. Su Yang narrowed his eyes, threatening me. Didn't you? I frowned and glanced apologetically at Qi Ru. Qi Ru smiled. No wonder. President Jin's lipstick has a rather unique look today. I froze, instinctively wiping my mouth. Only then did I realize my smudged lipstick hadn't been fixed. Throughout the meal, I was sweating. My image was completely ruined. Su Fang'ai's career wasn't greatly affected, as I'd predicted. The collaboration between the Su and Jin families continued as usual. Naturally, I couldn't avoid meeting Su Fang'ai. We hadn't seen each other since the Sun family farce. Half a month later, my feelings towards my cheating ex-boyfriend had settled on only one word. Hypocrite. There was no hatred left. Su Fang'ai's first words to me were, You didn't terminate the collaboration. I wasn't the one humiliated at the Sun family party, I said calmly. Su Fang'ai's expression flustered. He asked, You and Su Yang? I interrupted him. Mr. Su, my private life is none of your business. We're not that close. Su Fang'ai lowered his head, his voice low and hoarse. Do you hate me? Do you have business here? I rapped on the table. If Mr. Su isn't here to discuss business, please leave. Su Fang'ai gave a bitter smile. Su Yang defends you quite fiercely. For the past half-month, the Su family has been throwing obstacles my way. I've lost a lot. Business is business, I commented. If he can make you lose, it's his ability. I don't interfere. Su Fang'ai closed his eyes and said, I wronged you. I gave an O. Then how about giving me the Su family assets as compensation? Su Fang'ai's already tired face had aged considerably over the past half-month. He just smiled. Karma. If it comes to that point, it'll be because I wasn't capable enough. I was satisfied with his attitude. If the project incurs losses, the Jin family will terminate subsequent cooperation with you. Su Fang'ai nodded and left, looking dazed. I didn't give him another glance. I called my secretary. Send dinner to young President Su tonight, and say, I paused, a hint of a smile in my voice. Say it's to reward his recent hard work in business. The secretary acknowledged and left. At 6 in the evening, I received a text from him. He came to see you. I found it amusing. Yes. Gam. He has the nerve to come see you. I haven't been causing him enough trouble. I could almost see his anger through the screen. I asked, don't you have anything serious to do? Your family's assets aren't there for you to use for petty schemes. Su Yang didn't reply. Half an hour later, he showed up at my office with several documents. He slapped the documents on my desk, his tone excited. Recent profits. I've earned the bride price. I glanced at the documents and said without thinking, once you've earned the bride price, it's time for the baby's milk money. Su Yang froze. I froze too, a beat later. Milk money? Su Yang stammered. I opened my mouth flustered. What was I even saying? How could there be a baby without marriage? As my mind went blank, Su Yang asked weakly, Sister Lan? My face suddenly flushed crimson. I stood frozen, completely at a loss for words. Jin Lan, are you really afraid of marriage and children? I thought about it carefully. When I imagined marrying Su Yang, I realized I wasn't scared at all. I was even a bit hopeful. Hopeful about living with Su Yang, about this young man with our child, about a chubby little kid like Ki Duo, calling us mom and dad. After the Sun family farce, I'd learned how to protect those close to me. I'd also, to some extent, assumed a maternal role with Ki Duo. I'd watched Su Yang play with the children, watched him stand up for me, watched him love me with such passion and fearlessness. I finally realized that I did long for love, for marriage, for bringing our child into the world. Because the longing was so vivid, I was afraid of failing to achieve it. So I tried to hide. So I acted like a cold machine, constantly testing. Thinking of this, I couldn't help my eyes welling up. Su Yang came closer, looking anxious. What's wrong? I'm not forcing you to marry or have a baby. I looked up and asked gently. Su Yang, do you actually like children? Su Yang shook his head, a bit guilty. No. Are you sure? Be honest. You play so well with Ki Duo. And at the Sun family party, you got along with all the other kids too. Now you're telling me you don't like children. I enumerated point by point. Su Yang took a deep breath and finally nodded. I like children because I was an only child and lacked playmates. I've always enjoyed playing with kids. When I grew up, I felt children were simpler than adults. So I was reluctant to take over the family business. Later, to stand by your side, to protect you from scum, to be worthy of you, I had to start working hard. I was silent for a long time, without responding. Su Yang looked a bit melancholy. But I don't want you to ever compromise your happiness. If you don't want to marry, we won't. If you don't want children, we won't. I can date you for life. I mean it. We don't have to marry. We could adopt. We could find an agent to run the company and travel the world. Anything. I tugged at his collar and smiled, relieved. Then let's get married. Su Yang went completely stiff. It took him a long time to recover. His voice trembled when he finally spoke. Are you proposing? Then ... Do I need to marry into your family? I frowned, stunned. Su Yang, can't you have a little dignity? What happened to that fearless, take-on-the-world attitude you had when we first met? Su Yang paused and glanced at me guiltily. That first day, Ki Duo was talking to me. I was crouched down, but I wasn't listening. My eyes were on you. Ki Duo got mad and poured a bottle of water on my head. Then he ran in and kicked your shoe away, ... Me? What kind of long con was this? Su Yang, after confessing, looked relieved. That's what happened. I was flustered. So I acted that way. Actually, I was playing dumb to get what I wanted. The tiger herself. You're still pretty dumb. Su Yang looked into my eyes, his gaze shining. Sister Lan, now that I've finally got what I wanted, I'd even willingly marry into your family. When he said those words, my heart trembled. The last layer of cold indifference around my heart dissolved, replaced by a scattered joy. 27. It was the best year of Jin Lan's life.